Welcome everyone again to this year's webinar, to this year's Back to School webinar with Redmenta. Today, we are going to talk about the holy grail of education. Everyone has heard of its effectiveness, and we all know how difficult it is to achieve, to build an adaptive learning environment on a scale for a classroom. Today, we are going to introduce the new features of Redmenta and explain how to supercharge your adaptive teaching. I'm Zoltán Bisi, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Redmenta. This is Agnes Csipke with me. She is the lead educational expert on the team. Today, we are going to be the host of this event. Now, Agi, tell us, why do so many people consider adaptive teaching the holy grail of education?
Well, the need for adaptive learning environments is more crucial in today's education. And the reason behind that is now people better understand the need to help students from different backgrounds, with different learning styles and with different challenges. In a traditional classroom where only one custom teaching method is used, these difficulties may frustrate the students, tire them, and significantly hurt their academic success. And this is where the need for adaptive teaching comes in. So there are multiple definitions of adaptive teaching. Each of them is focusing on different aspects of adaptivity, but the main points are the same. And what are these key points? So according to Doherty and her colleagues' definition, adaptive teaching is the personalized adaptation of content and pedagogical methods according to the learner's needs to increase the effectiveness and the quality of the learning process. So these are the key steps of adaptive teaching. And according to a fresh literature review from last year, adaptive teaching has more benefits. Personalized learning is the biggest benefit of adaptive teaching. Multiple studies have discussed how adaptive learning environments can be used as a tool or as a method to personalize the learning process. Personalized learning, which is the biggest outcome, the result of adaptive teaching, helps optimize learning outcomes by focusing on areas where the students need more support and practice. Also, adaptive teaching leads to enhanced student engagement and motivation by increasing the difficulty of tasks accordingly throughout the whole learning process. So, always providing relevant challenges for students, just like in a game. And beside that, adaptive teaching lets students to progress at their own pace, receive targeted support that aligns with their strengths and weaknesses. And all those factors lead to an improved well-being for students, according to recent researches on the topic. And of course, teachers can also benefit from adaptive learning systems because they provide insights into students' needs and makes the process of personalization easier than ever. And how can we use the benefits of technology and especially artificial intelligence? The role of AI is crucial for providing personalized learning experiences for our students. That's because AI systems can process large amounts of data, learn from that data, and make recommendations based on that data. So through the data analysis, AI-based adaptive learning systems can identify individual learning characteristics, such as the strengths, weaknesses, or knowledge gaps, if there's any. This analysis is essential in creating personalized learning experiences. And we can say that the fields of artificial intelligence and education have been deeply intertwined, and we can say, developed together somehow. Let's have a short recap on what role AI has played in education throughout the history. So first of all, let's travel back to the 1920s, 100 years ago, when the teaching machines were invented. This was the first step into adaptive learning systems. This machine moved on only when the student got the right answer, but it wasn't adaptive in real because the learning path was pre-scripted for one fixed learning material, for one fixed subject with strictly regulated steps. As a next step, in the 1950s, the teaching machines led to the development of adaptive teaching machines, known as the self-adaptive keyboard instructors. They were invented for typists to practice their writing skills, and it presented tasks according to the typist's speed, the skills, and mistakes they made. However, it was limited to physical skill improvement because of this keyboard and the typists used it. So in the 1960s, scientists tried to improve the self-adaptive keyboard instructions, and this led to the computer-aided instruction systems, which could focus on cognitive skills as well and had more opportunities for the students. However, it was a very complex and expensive system, so it was not widely used. But in 1970, AI first implemented into a computer-aided instruction in a PhD thesis, and this became known as intelligent tutoring systems. This marked a significant milestone in the history of AI in education, because this was the base of later developments as well, we can say, because here the real adaptivity came in with the possibility of more diverse learning paths. And in the 1980s, it's very interesting that one of the earliest dialogue-based tutoring systems was developed for medical education. So students could engage in a role-playing situation and with the tutorial dialogues. And it was very helpful for medical students as well. And in the more recent history of AI in education, the exploratory learning environments were introduced. And in contrast to the step-by-step approach of the previous technologies, these systems encourage learners to actively construct their own knowledge by exploring elements of the learning environment. Other modern developments of AI in education include language learning apps, for example, chatbots, and continuous assessment. We can think of, I think you are all familiar with that app, Duolingo. But there is one problem still present with Duolingo and similar apps that has been present since the 1920s and throughout the history, that the technology is still connected to fixed content. And because of that, it's more like rigid. So, Zoli, what do you think?
All right. So if we have a look at the history of education and AI technology, we see a pattern and a few challenges emerging from this story. And the first one is the missing flexibility. And yes, as Agi mentioned, we hear a lot from these teachers that Duolingo is great, but I need a similar tool to different subjects and different content too. And yes, maybe not the language teachers are the ones who are saying that, but anyway, let's be fair and let's say that Duolingo, it's a great technology. But these technologies are like aisles. Each of them has its own costs, and all of them were created for a specific purpose, and you cannot use them for different subjects and contents. The second one is the ethical concern. Why would I train big tech companies' AI model with my students' personal data? And right, this is a valid question. Why would we sell our students to big tech companies? It would be completely undermine the idea of the education. And the third one is, okay, so it's time and money. In an ideal world where the teacher has enough time and energy, adaptive teaching would work, but our reality is totally different. That's what we hear from teachers. And this is something like a catch-22. So the technology is not there yet. And without technology, it's almost impossible. It is so time-consuming. No one is creating adaptive learning environments without technology. So the key takeaway from all of this is that there's a need for a curriculum-agnostic AI solution that doesn't train the model with my students' personal data. And I'm going to give away the punchline of this whole webinar. We have built this tool. We have this tool. This is why we're here to introduce this tool to you. But before we dive into the details, let me step back a bit and tell you why we are doing this, why it is important for us. So we are the rare kind of people who believe education has the potential, and I dare to say education has the power to solve the most tenacious problem of the humankind. Well, and the teachers are the people who can tame this power, who can tame this force or guide this force, just like Jedi masters focusing this force in the right way, on the right students, at the right time. And we believe that if we provide the right tool, okay, let's call it a lightsaber, just to stick with the fun metaphor, a tool that empowers the teachers to pass on the key knowledge to future generations, a tool that amplifies the teacher's impact on the students and on the world. We can help addressing the challenges we face in our lifetime. And that's what we are aiming by building this tool. And this tool is Redmenta's AI assistance to supercharge your adaptive teaching. It covers the complete teaching process with 3 steps: create, evaluate, and adapt. Now let's see those steps in the details. So first, create. An outstanding worksheet system integrated with the most powerful AI assistant can create the most engaging content, quizzes, activities like role-playing games, AI chatbots, worksheet that facilitates collaborative games, project-based learnings. And the second one is evaluate, an assistant that can help teachers evaluating students' performance. Not just closed-ended questions. Yeah, I know, that's all news. Everyone can do it. But open-ended ones, like essays, video and graphical responses, like mind maps, graphs, or the process of photosynthesis. And last but not least, probably the most important step is based on the student's performance, this assistant can adapt new activities based on the student's work. All right, now, Agi, I think it's time to show this platform, this tool in action.
Yes, let me show you how it works on the platform of Redmenta. So now you can see the interface of Redmenta, and you can access the platform of Redmenta via redmenta.com. And after you log in, this is what you will see. So this is your feed. Here you can see all the worksheets you have created before or the worksheets that others shared with you. Everything you need to access is there. And it's important to note that on Redmenta, you have the possibility to create worksheets by yourself manually. But now we are here to show how you can supercharge your adaptive teaching with the help of AI assistants. So I will show you how you can create engaging activities with the help of AI assistants. So now you are here at the platform of Redmenta. And at the top of the page, you can see the AI assistants option. So just click on it, and then you will see the AI Assistant Hub. This is the place where you can access all assistants from one place for different kind of purposes. So you can create worksheets with the help of assistants. So, for example, a reading comprehension or practice tasks, for example. You can focus more on 21st century skills if you wish. So problem-based learning, project-based learning, they are also available. And if you want to create something beyond worksheets, then you can just choose from different tools that can support your teaching with administrative tasks, such as lesson planning, or you can choose from other types of tools that can help you with your teaching work. So for example, now this is classroom rules, And if your school needs an administrative support, it's also possible to choose from those assistants. So now I will show you how you can use an assistant in practice. So let me show you the assistant that can create assessments based on specific learning outcomes. So to use an assistant, just click on it, and then you will see the title of this assistant, a short description about this assistant, how it works, for what cases you can use it. And below that field, you will see you can build up your first introduction message to your AI assistant. Because it's important to note that your AI assistant you can imagine it as a real conversation with someone, that you are chatting with your assistant, you are building ideas together. So, of course, you need to introduce yourself to the AI so it can know more about who you are, what subject you teach, what grade you teach, for example. So, I can choose that I teach biology for 8th graders, and then here you will see your introduction to your AI assistant. We talked about ethical issues before, and it's important that on Redmenta, we don't train the AI models with this information. So as soon as the AI processes the information and generates the content for you, it will forget everything immediately. So we don't train AI models with your data, so you can use it. So this is why we think it's very important to provide you an AI tool that can be used ethically in education. So not training models with your data. And below this introduction message, you can also specify more information for the assistant based on what it can create the content. It's different for every assistant because each assistant needs different information. For example, now this is for learning outcomes and difficulty level of tasks. You can also upload documents, videos, or images as a reference for the assistant. And if you are unsure what to write there, because how you can phrase your inputs for the AI, you can find this Suggest Me button at the top right corner. And if you click on it, then it will provide you some examples on how you can input your information for the AI assistant. Now, these are some learning outcomes related to photosynthesis. So now everything's ready to start the conversation with the AI. So if you want to start your chat, just click on Start and let's see what's happening. So our assistant is coming up with a recommendation for a worksheet, which is an outline of the worksheet. So this is not the final worksheet. This is the suggestion from your assistant. It can come up with an assessment like this. So all the tasks, as you can see there. After you receive this outline of the worksheet, you still have the opportunity to customize it how you would like to use. So if you think that, for example, you want a different task as a first task, so you want a true or false as a first task, you can write it as well, or you can make the whole worksheet. You can ask for a different version of the worksheet, like more difficult tasks or something. So I can say, for example, okay, make this worksheet story-based and change the first task. So I started the conversation and it generates the next one. As we can see, the first task is different from the first one, so it asks for a different information. So now it's story-based worksheet with Alex and the journey of Alex. So it's more interesting. If you think that this worksheet is totally ready, I want to use it, then all you need to do is to bring it to life. So if you click on Bring it to life, then the AI assistant will convert the outline into a real worksheet that can be immediately used in your classroom. You can share it with your students so they can also access it. As you can see, this is how your students will see the worksheet, what you just created in a minute. Here are the tasks you saw in the outline, single choice, true or false. So all of them, and students can start completing all the tasks in one place. So this is the worksheet. Now, I completed this worksheet before the webinar to show you how we can access the second step of supercharging your teaching with the help of AI assistants. So now students completed the worksheet, and now the next step, as Zoli mentioned, is to evaluate the students' performance. So if you want to start evaluating your students' performance, just check the worksheet you want to evaluate. Click on these three lines and you can access the evaluate menu from there. If you click on it, then you will see the students list on the left side of the page. So choose the student you want to evaluate. And if you choose the student, then here you can see the interface of assessment. As you can see there, these are the tasks of the worksheet. Each task is a dot, and the dots, which are dark blue, they are the closed-ended questions, because Redmenta evaluates the closed-ended questions automatically. For example, single choice, true or false, they are evaluated automatically. And the dots marked with light blue, they are the open-ended questions, such as essays, drawings, video recordings, or discussions with an AI chatbot. So they are still require your attention. And if you want to assess them automatically as well, as Redmenta did for the closed-ended questions, you can simply click on AI Evaluator, and the assistant will do the evaluation part for you as a second step. So yes, now all tasks are evaluated. It's important to notice that the evaluation from the AI assistant is always just a recommendation. So it's not sent immediately for the student. You have the opportunity to review them as a teacher. So you can scroll down and check all the assessments made by the AI assistant. So this is a closed-ended question. One. Then the true or false also, 2 mistakes, but still not bad. So you can check all the assessments. For example, here, this is a short answer task. You can see that the AI did the evaluation and also wrote a comment because there was a missing part in this solution. So it recognized that this is not the right solution and added a detailed comment on how the students can perform better. If you want to edit the comment or add something, you have the option to fully customize these comments. And if you think that this is ready to send, then you can send it easily. This is how you can review the assessment did by the AI. This is the essay task. This is the scores AI gave to the student. And the assistant wrote a detailed comment on the strengths, weaknesses, a detailed guide on how the student can perform better in the future and what was good and what needs still improvement in the essay. So you have the option to customize it as well, or you can just send it if you think it's ready. This is a drawing of the photosynthesis. It's a bit minimalist, to be honest. And the AI assistant thought the same. So it's not enough for that one point because there are a lot of things that are missing from the picture. So we can say that I agree with the assistant. And as you can see now, all dots are green. So you assessed all tasks in the worksheet, and it means that all tasks are ready for your approval. The next step, you can scroll back to the top of the page, and here you can see a summary, which is feedback on the student's overall performance in that worksheet. So this summary collects all the strengths, the weaknesses of the student performance in that worksheet, and it also lists some further ideas on how the student can develop in the future. So it's a very detailed feedback for the student and for you as well as a report on the student's performance. And you can also edit it if you want to add some comments or you have some more thoughts. And if you think that the evaluation is totally ready, then you can click on approve. And this is when you send the results for your students and they will receive a notification that their results are final. So this is the end of the second step. So the students completed the worksheet. We evaluated the performance. That's it. But we know that the learning process does not end here, because this is the point where students can continue their learning process based on what they did wrong and what they did right. So they can practice even more and deepen their knowledge. As a third step to supercharge your adaptive teaching with the AI assistants is to generate personalized activities for further development based on the student's performance. And to have this option, just click on the Generate Personalized Learning option. If you click on Generate, the AI assistant will analyze two things. First, the summary, which was written, and I showed it to you, and the submitted worksheet, so all tasks and all feedback written by you and the assistant. So what is happening now is that the AI assistant will come up with a list of the possible development areas on what can be improved, and we can choose from them. And then we can also specify that if we want to keep the same worksheet or choosing a different kind of activity, a new activity to make the learning journey even more exciting.
All right, these are the 3 steps that you can do to supercharge your adaptive teaching. All right, then thank you so much.